Thank you and good morning. I understand that state law currently requires that the following announcement be made at the beginning of every remote public hearing as follows. Due to the current public health emergency, City Council committees are currently meeting remotely. We are using Microsoft Teams to make these remote hearings possible. Instructions for how the public may view and offer public testimony at public hearings of council committees are included in the public hearing notices that are being published in the Daily News, Inquirer, and Legal Intelligencer prior to the hearings, and can be also found on phlcouncil.com. I now note that the hour has come, and I ask that the clerk, will you please call the roll to take attendance? Members that are in attendance will please indicate that you are present when your name is called. Also, please say a few brief words when responding so that your image will be displayed online or on the screen when you speak. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Heenan.
Good morning, Madam Chair and colleagues.
Good morning.
Councilmember O.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, colleagues.
Good morning.
Councilmember Gim. Councilmember Green.
Good morning, Madam Chair, colleagues, and happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you. Good morning, and I appreciate those birthday wishes. Thank you.
Councilmember Thomas.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, colleagues. Happy to be here this morning.
Good morning.
Councilmember Brooks.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, colleagues.
Good morning.
And Madam Chair Bass.
Good morning. Okay, so thank you, Madam Clerk. A quorum of the committee is present, and the hearing is now called to order. This is the public hearing of the Committee on Public Health and Human Services regarding Bill number 200115. Resolution number 200153 is being held at the request of the sponsor and will not be heard today. Clerk, will you please read the title of the bill being considered today?
Bill number 200115, an ordinance amending section 10-602 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Smoking to prevent establishments that are accepted from the indoor smoking prohibition from permitting minors to enter and to require health informational signs, and amending section 10-614 entitled Electronic Smoking Devices to prohibit establishments that are accepted from the indoor e-cigarette use prohibition from permitting minors to enter and to require health informational signs, all under certain terms and conditions.
Before we begin to hear testimony from the witnesses we have for today, everyone who has been invited to the meeting to testify should be aware that this public hearing is being recorded. Because the hearing is public, participants and viewers have no reasonable expectation of privacy. By continuing to be in the meeting, you are consenting to being recorded. Additionally, prior to recognizing members for the questions or comments they have for witnesses, I will note for the record at this time that we will use the chat feature available in Microsoft Teams to allow members to signify that they wish to be recognized. In order to comply with the Sunshine Act, the chat feature must only be used for that purpose. Madam Clerk, will you please call the first panel or witness to testify? And before we actually call that witness to testify, I did want to invite the sponsor of the bill to make comments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's best that we hear from the administration and our health commissioner, as I believe this just furthers the commitment of our leadership in the city of Philadelphia when it comes to health and safety in the prohibition of smoking in front of minors in certain venues, and its commitment to health in our city. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Councilman. And I could not agree with you more that the health of our young people is paramount, and the city has made a commitment to that. And I think that, this bill is something that will be of great use to our city and to the young people in our city and to the long-term health effects that they are facing. So without further ado, Madam Clerk, will you please call the first witness to testify?
Health Commissioner Dr. Thomas Farley from the Department of Public Health.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We can hear you well. Good morning.
Good morning. All right. Good morning, Chair Member Bass and members of the Public Health and Human Services Committee. I'm Dr. Thomas Farley, Health Commissioner for the City of Philadelphia. Thank you for allowing me to testify on Bill number 200115, which, if enacted, would prohibit establishments with exemptions from the city's restriction on indoor smoking and indoor electronic smoking device use from permitting minors to enter, and would require signs to that effect. For those establishments where hookah smoking takes place, the bill would also require the posting of information about the health risks of hookah use. Thanks to Council Members Bass and Heenan for sponsoring this bill. Under city and state laws, almost all restaurants and bars in Philadelphia are smoke-free, which protects workers and customers in these establishments from the serious dangers of secondhand smoke. Some restaurants and bars have exemptions, though. While few of the remaining bars in the city that permit smoking allow children inside, dozens of establishments that serve hookah have no such rule. That means that families with children may have no idea on entering a restaurant that they are inadvertently exposing their children to secondhand smoke, relying on the common sense belief that such exposure is no longer permitted in places where children go. By barring minors from entering establishments where smoking takes place, we protect their lungs from secondhand smoke. In addition, the bill would require signs clarifying that minors are not allowed to enter the premises of any establishments that allow on-site use of tobacco products or electronic smoking devices due to the health risks of secondhand smoke and vape products. Smoking hookah produces very dangerous, harmful air pollutants. PM 2.5, which is a form of harmful fine particulate matter that is associated with heart and lung disease, including lung cancer, can be even more highly concentrated in hookah bars than in bars where cigarette smoking is permitted. Even in bars that claim to use only tobacco and nicotine-free herbal hookah, tobacco has been found in the product. Nicotine has been found in the air, and PM 2.5 levels are elevated. Hookah is unique among tobacco products in that it does not carry required health warnings like those on cigarettes and other tobacco packaging. These warnings serve an important purpose. Consumers are up to 3 times more likely to recognize the risk to their health if they are warned about it on product packaging. The lack of warnings has serious consequences. Many hookah users, including up to 70% of college students who have used hookah, believe that because the smoke passes through water, it is less risky than cigarette smoke. It is not. A typical hookah smoking session exposes a person to twice the nicotine and over 20 times the tar of smoking a single cigarette. Because there are no warning signs, these people are exposed to serious health risks they do not understand. This bill would require hookah bars to post warning signs at each entrance and on menus and menu boards about the health risks of hookah smoking. These signs should deter many people who mistakenly believe that hookah is safe, or safer than cigarettes, from smoking hookah. Finally, I want to note that as long as these exemptions exist to the smoke-free air law, employees in these bars will be exposed to an increased risk of cancer and heart disease from secondhand smoke. Often, these employees do not have the freedom to find employment in safer establishments. Accordingly, the Philadelphia Department of Health also continues to recommend repeal of the specialty tobacco establishment exemption. Thank you for the opportunity to testify on this bill. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you so much for your testimony and for your continued commitment to the safety and education around smoking and awareness in the city of Philadelphia. Thank you so much. I wanted to recognize Councilman Heenan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner, I want to thank you for continuing on this effort to make sure that Philadelphians are recreating safe and living in a safe city, especially when it comes to minors, furthering the requirements of posting in establishments in our city, and explaining the various levels of tobacco use when it comes to citizens and visitors of our city. And it's not just cigarettes, it's vaping, it's e-cigarettes, it's juuling, and in hookah, as you described, it is a targeted, from a marketing perspective, industry that has a ripple effect, negatively on people. So thank you for that. And I urge the committee to consider this and pass it through with no issues, because it certainly goes in line with what our chairperson has been doing of our health committee and other members of council and the mission of our health department. So Dr. Farley, I want to thank you for that and thank you for your persistence. And I'd be remiss not to take the opportunity to say thank you for leading us through this COVID crisis that we've had in our city.
Yes.
You've done an incredible job, and I just want to say thank you for myself and for the residents of the 6th District.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Thank you. Are there any additional requests or any additional comments from members of council? Okay, seeing none. Madam Clerk, are there any other witnesses to testify?
There are no further witnesses today.
Okay. All right. And there being no further comments from members of the committee and no other witnesses to testify, I'll ask if there is anyone else present in this hearing whose name we have failed to call that wishes to offer testimony on this bill being considered today. Okay. Hearing none, I want to thank the panel, Commissioner Farley, and for being the witness and for your participation today. We thank you and we value your opinions. And I now invite all panels and witnesses, any panels and witnesses, to please disconnect from the meeting before we go into our public meeting. We will now pause the proceedings briefly as our participants leave the hearing. And this concludes the public hearing of the committee, and we will now go into the public meeting to consider the action to be taken on this bill before this committee today. Madam Clerk, can we please call the roll again to take attendance? Members that are in attendance will please indicate that you are present when your name is called, and also say a few words briefly so that your image will be displayed on screen when you speak. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Heenan.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Councilmember O.
Good morning, I'm present.
Councilmember Gim. Councilmember Green.
Good morning. Present still.
Councilmember Thomas.
Good morning, present.
Councilmember Brooks.
Good morning, I'm present.
And Madam Chair Bass.
Thank you. Okay, a quorum of committee members is present. And again, this is a public meeting and we're going to amend bill number 200115. I want to recognize Councilmember Heenan for a motion on the amendment to bill number 200115.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I offer an amendment to bill number 200115. A copy of the amendment has been circulated to all members of the committee, and I move that the amendment bill number 200115 be approved.
Second.
Thank you. It's been seconded by Councilman David O. I just want to note that for the record, that it has been moved and properly seconded that the amendment to bill number 200115 be approved. All of those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay, the ayes have it. The motion carries. And the amendment to bill number 200115 has been approved. And we want to now report this bill as amended 200115. I want to recognize Councilman Heenan for a motion on bill number 200115 as amended.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that bill number 200115 as amended be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit the first reading of this bill at our next session of council.
Second.
Okay, and for the record, I want to note that Councilman David O seconded the motion, and it's been moved and properly seconded that bill number 200115 as amended be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council. All of those in favor of this motion will signify by saying aye. Aye. Does anyone oppose? Nope. Okay. The ayes have it and the motion carries. And this concludes the business before this committee on Public Health and Human Services. I want to thank everyone for their attendance today, and thank you to the bill sponsor. Thank you, Councilman Heenan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Have a great day.
Thank you. Everyone have a great day.
All right, take care.
Take care.